Hey guys, so one of the biggest, I think, misunderstood aspect, at least at our training, because we're a cross-training school, is the stick work, specifically the double stick work. And, again, it makes sense. I mean, people can understand throwing a punch and trying to defend that or try to get somebody off of you if they're on the ground in the mount. But when it comes to doing stick work and double stick work especially, it doesn't relate to most people. And that makes sense. I mean, this comes from a very, rich historical context, what we're doing with this, because it does represent combat. It does represent double sword, double axe, sword and shield and stuff like that. But for us, it's more of a, if anything, especially Siniwalli, which is what I'm going to talk about here, is more of a training tool. It's more of a body mechanic enhancement or kinetic enhancement training tool, right? So it's similar to, I use the jump rope as an example. You see every striker, every boxer, MMA fighter in the world does jump rope. I mean, most likely, right? But people jump rope, but they don't get in the ring and start jumping rope. It's just a way to train the body, train the footwork, train the endurance. And I think of double stick as the same. Even if your interest isn't in weaponry, but you want empty hand skills, this is a really good fast track to having great empty hand skills or faster and quicker and more coordination with your empty hand skills, which I'm not going to go into in this video, but I'm going to show you a drill that I was working with some of my students to help with, and this is specifically Heaven 6. So this is a slightly advanced thing, and I'm almost positive that Master Kirk McCune showed me this. So if you're listening to this, Kirk, thanks, brother. But what we're going to do, so that what we call Heaven 6 is this inward strike, a backhand strike, and a backhand strike. Inward, backhand, and we're following a diagonal downward angle of attack, right? So I'll be hitting the temple, the collarbone, the jaw, the neck here, down, and then of course this could also be the limbs, so I could be hitting their hands as well, right? But that's it. So if you've never done this before, you're gonna need to practice this a bunch and get comfortable with it, right? So it's, again, forehand strike, backhand strike goes all the way through, you jab, and then you're chambered on this side, and there's thousands of variations. But what I'm gonna have you think about is, again, the main reason I think I would argue for double training or symmetrical weapon training is exactly that, to gain symmetry in your body, right? Unless you're truly ambidextrous, it's never gonna feel the same, but doing these type of drills is just a good way to enhance and tune in both sides of the body when you're trying to replicate the same feel. Now with the Heaven 6, so if I've got my target here, my bob dummy, I'm just picking the same target over and over again. I can go down to the collarbone, I can go up to the temple here like this. So a lot of people will do Heaven 6 that way, and with a partner, it's often clack, 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 which is great. And again, depending on your level, for some people it's 1, 2, 3, boom, right? You gotta learn it. But if you've got the Heaven 6 down and you're also now starting to change elevation, change different targets, a thing you can start to do is pick each strike as the emphasis strike. And this for me changed doing Heaven 6, right? Because it became slightly more functional, if you will, right? But it also really had to make me focus on different aspects of what I'm doing. So probably the easiest, especially if you're right-handed, would be the emphasis on the first inward strike. See, I'm really leaning into that first strike. So I want my emphasis to be a big blast and then a quick flurry at the end to get back to that big inward blast, right? So to me, that's probably the easiest for people to feel, right? Okay. Probably one of the harder ones though is the next one, which is that backhand, because a lot of times when people are learning this backhand just kind of floats out there. The trick is being able to get mechanics behind, I call it the sneaky backhand, right? You see that, but then you don't necessarily see that, it kind of comes out of nowhere. But then we want to train mechanics for this, right? So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, so I'm really pulling through on that second backhand. Trying to keep that same angle though, right? So I'm trying to maintain, right? Mechanics, swinging the body through, pulling through, and then it's a quick flurry to the end, all right? So then you just keep going and going. I'm not gonna do all of them for the sake of the video, but just to give you the idea, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's another tricky, that's a watik that I'm trying to get full power into. Right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now my left inward strike is my power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I lied. I'm showing you all of them. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be the last one. Your last left backhand before going in. All right. So, anyways, you get the idea. Great drill. Great for your, cardio conditioning. If you do, rounds of this. But I think it really educates the hands even more so, right, to that symmetry and being able to basically coordinate two weapons at the same time in both hands, right? Again, most people probably would never fight like this. If they did have 2 sticks, it would probably turn into more like a sword and shield, like a jab cross type feel. But it's just great for your training, for your body mechanics, for your physical education. And again, it'll help with your empty hand application. So anyways, guys, I hope you like that. See you in the next video.